So reading from chapter 4, text 8. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Translation: to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. The purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has the qualifications of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is understood to be a sadhu. And duskritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or duskritam are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education. Whereas a man who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as a sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well-cultured. As far as the atheistic is concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear, as He is to destroy them, as He did with the demons Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord especially descends to appease His unalloyed devotees, who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demon harasses the devotee, even though the latter may happen to be of his skin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa, but both were performed simultaneously. Therefore it is said here that to deliver the devotee and to vanquish the demon miscreants, the Lord appears in different incarnations. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj, the following verses summarize this principle of incarnation. Shrishti hetu yeti murti prapaniche avatare. Se Ishvara murti avatare namadhare. Maya iti paravyome sabhare avastana. Vishve avatari dhare avatara nama. The avatar or incarnation of God descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation, and the particular form of the personality of Godhead who so descends is called an incarnation or avatar. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatar. There are various kinds of avatars, such as Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Shakti-avesh avatars, Manavantra avatars, and Yuga avatars, all appearing on schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primeval Lord, the fountainhead of all avatars. Lord Sri Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see Him in His original Vrindavan pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of the Krishna avatar is to satisfy His unalloyed devotees. The Lord says that He incarnates Himself in every millennium. This indicates that He incarnates also in the age of Kali. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy names, and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that this culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world from town to town and village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as an incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly, but not directly, in the confidential parts of the revealed scriptures such as the Upanishads, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants, but delivers them by his causeless mercy. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmenitam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sva Padantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam Sacha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bheevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. Let me just read the verse once again. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So devotees, there are many stories about Akbar, King Akbar and Birbal. He is his most trusted prime minister. So once King Akbar asked Birbal, he said, when God is all-powerful and all-knowing, why does he have to take birth on earth in human form? In your religion, now remember Akbar is Muslim and Birbal is Hindu. So he says, in your religion especially, it is believed that God has come on earth several times and in many incarnations to save the earth and its people. But when God is omnipotent, why does he not solve our difficulties simply from heaven itself? So Birbal, he didn't respond. He asked the king, he said, give me some time and then I will give you an answer. So a few days later, the royal entourage, the king with all his ministers, were going on the royal yacht on the lake. And as they were approaching the center of the lake, then Birbal said to Akbar that, my lord, just look over on that side. I think the Prince Salim is drowning. If you can see clearly, you might be able to see him. And so the king looked and he could see somebody in royal clothes, literally bobbing his head out of the water. So this king immediately, he jumped into the lake because he was a good swimmer, and he swam to this boy or the drowning person, and he immediately got hold of him and he dragged him back to the shore. So when he dragged him to the shore, then he realized that this person that he had saved was actually a puppet or a mannequin dressed in royal clothes. So he asked Birbal, what's going on here? So Birbal said to him that I said to you that your son was drowning, Salim was drowning. Right? And immediately you jumped into the water to save him. Right? You could have sent any of your guards, your royal messengers, all of them are perfect swimmers, but without hesitation, you went. Right? So in the same way, the Supreme Lord, He is all merciful, all powerful. And when it comes to His devotees, like how you, because you love your son so much, you immediately jumped into the waters to save him. So in the same way, the Lord comes personally to interact with His devotees and to save them from any misfortune. So then Birbal, of course, understood. Now this is the nature of Lord Krishna. And we call that nature Bhakta Vatsal. Bhakta Vatsal. Now Vatsal comes from the word calf or dear child. And Bhakta is one who has devotion. So Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsal because he has great devotion for his devotees. For those who are devoted to him, he is their dearmost friend. And in the same way that we say Vatsal means a calf or a dear child, Krishna is so loving and caring, so compassionate towards his dear devotees. He maintains as well as he fulfills all the desires of the innumerable materially gross jivas. Because he is responsible, he maintains all living entities. We know with the air, sunlight, water, the earth, he is maintaining all living entities. And he does this through his expansions or his energies. However, Krishna, he comes personally and he attends to the relatively small group of souls that are interested in him, in his direct love and protection. And he exemplifies this tender concern towards his faltering bhaktas. This is his real nature, that he reciprocates with his devotees, and that is his Bhakta Vatsal nature. Now, if you read through any of Krishna's pastimes, you will see that this Bhakta Vatsal nature, it is projected in almost all of his pastimes. So we're going to go through a few pastimes and we'll highlight this Bhakta Vatsal nature of Lord Krishna. Now, in the battle of Kurukshetra, remember, here we can see, right in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, his Bhakta Vatsal nature is projected as Parthasarathi. He is the chariot driver of Arjun. The Supreme Lord has become or has taken that humble position to drive the chariot of Arjun, his dear devotee. Now we'll come back to that a little later. So in the battle of Kurukshetra, there was a very powerful personality, Grandfather Bhishma. Now Grandfather Bhishma, he had brought up both the Kauravas and the Pandavas as his children. But he was fighting on the side of the Kauravas. He was fighting on the side of Duryodhan. And Duryodhan, at one day, he provoked him and he said that you have an affinity to the Pandavas. So therefore, you are not fighting to your full potential. Right, so in this way, he provoked Grandfather Bhishma. So grandfather Bhishma was a very, very powerful fighter. And so he said, fine, if that's the way you think, pick up 5 arrows and leave it here. And those 5 arrows, tomorrow I will annihilate the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas. So Duryodhana was very pleased. He picked up 5 arrows and he left it aside in his tent. Now Krishna dwells within all of us as Paramatma. So he immediately knew what had happened or what was conspiring. So he asked Arjun, he said, Arjun, do you remember the one boon that Duryodhana had given you? Now is the time to ask for that boon. So this boon was actually, once Duryodhana was fighting, Duryodhana and all his 100 brothers were fighting the Gandharvas. And they were losing. So Arjun intervened and he helped them to win against the Gandharvas. And Duryodhana was very pleased with him, so he said to him that, I offer you a boon. Ask whatever you want. And so Arjun said, I don't want anything now, but when the time is right, I will ask for this boon. So now Krishna reminded him of that, and he said to him, now is the time for you to ask. So Arjun asked, what should I ask from Duryodhana? Krishna said, Duryodhana has 5 arrows. You go and ask him for those arrows. So Arjun approached Duryodhana. You know, after the battle happens during the day, everyone is fighting their enemies, but at the night, after sunset, they can be friends, talk to each other and meet in different camps and so forth. So Arjun went to the camp of Duryodhana, and he said to him, Duryodhana, do you remember the one boon you promised me? Duryodhana said, yes, Arjun, ask for whatever you want. Even if you want the kingdom right now, I'll give it to you. Arjun said, no. I want those 5 arrows that you have got against the wall. And Duryodhana immediately gave it to him. So the next morning, when grandfather Bhishma came for those 5 arrows, he asked Duryodhana, where are those 5 arrows? Duryodhana said, in the evening or at night, Arjun came and he had a boon that I had promised him. And instead of the boon, he asked for those 5 arrows. So then grandfather Bhishma understood that this is the work of Krishna. So he said to himself that Krishna has made a vow. What was Krishna's vow? Anybody knows? In the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna had vowed not to fight. That's why he had taken up the position as chariot driver. He had offered his army on the opposite side and him on one side. And Duryodhana and Yudhishthir had to choose. And Yudhishthir chose Krishna and Duryodhana chose his army. So Krishna said, whoever chooses me, I will not fight. I will just be on your side. So now he had made this vow that he was not going to fight. And grandfather Bhishma said, okay, you have made me break my vow. In the sense that this 5 arrows, he will not be able to utilize it. So now I'm going to make you break your vow. So that day, grandfather Bhishma, he fought so ferociously that he was attacking Arjun so viciously that at one point, Krishna picked up this chariot wheel and he was moving towards grandfather Bhishma because grandfather Bhishma was moving so ferociously towards Arjun. So in order to protect Arjun, Krishna picked up this chariot wheel. And as soon as he picked up this chariot wheel, grandfather Bhishma, then he stopped fighting because he had performed his, he had gained his, he had achieved his aim as such that Krishna would break his vow. So, we see here how protective Krishna is of his devotees. And then, grandfather Bhishma, remember he was also a very, very great devotee of Krishna. And at the end of the battle, he was lying on this bed of arrows awaiting his death. And Krishna and the 5 Pandavas had went there to meet him. And even though Krishna was there in front of him, grandfather Bhishma could only remember this image of Krishna holding that chariot wheel, because that is the Bhaktavatsal nature of Krishna. That's all he wanted to remember, is how Krishna was protecting his devotees. So, let's look at another pastime. There are so many that I've selected here. Let's look at the Nrsimhadev Leela. We are all very familiar with the Nrsimhadev Leela. Nrsimhadev is our protector. Lord Krishna appears as Nrsimhadev, our father figure. But who was he protecting? Who was he protecting? Prahlad Maharaj. Anybody else? Yes, he was protecting Prahlad Maharaj. That was the primary reason. But there was somebody else that he was protecting. When Hiranyakashipu asked for those boons, who did he ask it from? Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma had given this intricate boons to Hiranyakashipu. You cannot be killed by a human, you cannot be killed by an animal, you cannot be killed by any weapons, you cannot be killed inside, you cannot be killed outside, you cannot be killed at night, you cannot be killed during the day. All those that considered him to be invincible. But to protect Brahma's words, Lord Krishna created a new species. Right? Half man, half lion. Right? He couldn't be killed by a human, couldn't be killed by an animal. So, Lord Krishna came in this form as Nrsimhadev to protect the words of Lord Brahma. So you see how merciful, how wonderful Lord Krishna is. Now let's look at another pastime, the Govardhan Leela. Now, during the day, the whole day, when Krishna leaves in the morning, he goes out into the forest with the cowherd boys, the calves and the cows. All the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Maharaj Nanda, and all the cowherd men are missing Krishna. They're waiting for him to come back. And then when Krishna comes back, he goes to his house, the cowherd boys go to their respective houses. And what do? They are waiting anxiously, the cowherd boys are waiting anxiously for morning, so that they can be with Krishna again. And the same with the gopis. They are waiting anxiously every moment so that they could be with Krishna. So what does Krishna do during Govardhan Leela? He picks up this entire hill so that all the Vrajvasis could be with him for 7 days and 7 nights. The calves, the cows, the cowherd boys, the gopis, the gopas, the cowherd men and the cowherd ladies, all of them together cherishing this image of Krishna holding up Govardhan Hill. So this is how merciful he is. And then also part of Govardhan Leela was that he was to curb Indra's pride. Indra is also a devotee of the Lord. But he was becoming proud because of receiving this sacrifice from the Vrajvasis. And when that sacrifice was stopped by Krishna, then Indra, he decides to punish the Vrajvasis by sending these Samvartaka clouds. Right? And when he could not defeat Krishna, then Indra's pride was crushed and he was able to surrender to Krishna. So in this way, Krishna is helping his devotee. Right? This is also his Bhaktavatsal nature. Then we look at the cursing of Jai and Vijay. Now the 4 Kumaras had entered Vaikuntha and they were stopped at the gates by Lord Krishna's gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay. And because the 4 Kumaras were so furious that they were being stopped by these 2 gatekeepers, they cursed them. But before they could complete their curse, Lord Krishna appeared there. Lord Krishna, just to make sure that they didn't receive more punishment than necessary, he appeared there just to appease the 4 Kumars. Lord Krishna could have waited for his Garuda and then traveled on Garuda to the entrance. But no, he immediately appeared there just to protect his devotees. And then they were given this curse, a choice of either 3 lifetimes as demons or 7 lifetimes as devotees. And Jai and Vijay chose the 3 lifetimes as demons, and they appeared as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh in the first, then Ravana and Kumkaran in the second, and then Shishupal and Dandavakra in Krishna Lila. So these were the 3 lifetimes that they were given. So we see here Krishna's Bhaktavatsal nature in serving his devotees. Now another one is Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit, in the womb of his mother, Ashwatthama, at the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, had released this Brahmastra weapon to destroy the last remaining Pandava, last remaining heir of the Pandava dynasty. And Uttara Mother Uttara, the mother of Maharaj Parikshit, saw this Brahmastra coming, and she immediately surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna, from her heart, he appeared within the womb of Mother Uttara, and he saved this unborn child. So this is the Bhaktavatsal nature of Krishna. Now remember, I said to you that we'll come back to this little pastime of Parthasarati. At the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna asked Arjun to jump off from his chariot. And Arjun said first, he protested, "No, my lord, you jump off first." And Krishna said, "No, you jump off first." So Arjun jumped off the chariot. And then Krishna immediately jumped off the chariot. And as soon as Krishna got off the chariot, the entire chariot exploded. Because during the battle, so many mystical weapons, arrows, and so many fiery shots were being fired at Arjun. And Krishna was absorbing all of that. And that was stationed within the chariot. So as soon as Krishna left the chariot exploded. So see, this is the Bhaktavatsal nature of Krishna. So now, you might ask, that's fine. Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. He helped all his devotees during that time. What about us that are in the material world? What about us? Are we forsaken? No. Krishna hasn't forsaken any of us. In fact, he is present even today, and three ways that he is present here in Kali Yuga. First, in his holy name. Krishna has manifested all his powers into his holy name. Kali Kale Nama Roop Krishna Avatar. So in the age of Kali, Krishna has taken avatar in his form of the holy name. Nama Roop Krishna Avatar. Kali Kale. Kali is the age of Kali. Kal is time. So Kali Kale Nama Roop Krishna Avatar. So he has manifested all his potencies into the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then secondly, he appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago to manifest or to begin the Sankirtan movement, this distribution of chanting the holy names. And thirdly, and most importantly, he sent his dearmost servant, Srila Prabhupada, to spread the holy name to the entire world. And as a result, even today, we and I are benefiting from all the efforts that Srila Prabhupada and his disciples have made throughout the world. So I will conclude with one verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is Lord Chaitanya speaking about Krishna. This is Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text 95. Bhakta Vatsal Kritagya Samartha Vadanya Hena Krishna Chari Pandita Nahi Bhaje Anya. Bhakta Vatsal, very kind to his devotees. Now he's talking about Krishna. Kritagya, grateful. He is always grateful for whatever little anyone does for him. Samartha, he is full of abilities. Right? And Vadanya, he is magnanimous. So Krishna is all these qualities. Bhakta Vatsal, Kritagya, Samartha and Vadanya. Then the second line of that verse is more important. Hena Krishna Chari Pandit Nahi Bhaje Anya. The translation of that is, Pandit is a learned man. He's talking now about devotees, right? A learned man does not give up Krishna to worship anyone else. Because of all these qualities, Bhakta Vatsal, Kritagya, Samartha and Vadanya, if you are learned, then you will understand and you will not want to give up Krishna for anybody else. So I'll stop here. Are there any questions or any comments or anything anybody else would like to add? Hare Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.